China. The New York Post reporting, quote, members of Mandani's DSA pledged to support and defend China. The pledge says, quote, survival of Chinese socialism is a crucial matter. Socialists' other promises, government subsidized housing, free college, Medicare for all, and a shorter work week, and abolishing ICE.
Wow. That's a platform.
Yeah,
I mean, I always say, like, what if we're still fighting the Soviet Union? This is in the early 80s under Reagan, and this was happening. There seems to be a disconnect between the Soviet Union's communism and the scarier, crazier Chinese Communist Party, in my humble opinion.
I agree, and it's growing legs. I mean, I'm seeing more and more and more and more.
I think it's about money, Eric. I think the Soviets didn't have the money to pass around like the Chinese commies do.
That could be.
I always thought that, because I can't come up with a difference other than the Soviets were hard up for cash, and the Chinese communists seem to spend it, wisely from their point of view for propaganda. I mean, that list of journalists that they're paying to write stories was as breathtaking as the original Operation Mockingbird list, put out by Carl Bernstein in 1977 in Rolling Stone, Eric.
That's true. Of course, we're paying for it. I mean, if you think about it, the money is limitless because we are buying everything through China, and the CCP gets their cut from every business in China, and we're funding it. So.
Right. No, but I'm saying they flew these people over there. They wined and dined them. They gave them salaries to go back. And not only, if you read in the details of what they were ordered to do, and these are the biggest journalists in the United States in the post 21st century, they were ordered to trash Trump and support China. And they did it through podcasts, through TV shows, through editorials, through articles. I mean, the list is endless of what they wrote.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a law that they're breaking? If not, there should be.
That's the problem with being in a free environment with free speech, is we have our own weakness, if you will. I mean, we tolerate dissension.
Well, this is I beg to say that this is way beyond dissension. When the CIA was paying them through Operation Mockingbird, the left went batshit fucking crazy in the late 70s when it was revealed through Carl Bernstein in some moment of clarity that he had when he wasn't drunk, showing us what periodicals and what papers were using CIA paid journalists. But this is just brazen in your face. The commies are paying me and I'm going to go write stuff against the United States government.
I agree. Well, you said the lefties didn't care. Well, that's because most of the attacks were against the left. Now, it's them. So why would they care? I mean, they've infiltrated the government so hard internally. It's not just China, but it's literally all throughout the ranks of the CIA, all throughout the ranks of the FBI. Washington, D.C. itself is peppered with leftists. So, yeah, they're good with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's been no statements on the part of the conservative right about this Operation Mockingbird 2.0 after the release of the names and the release of the articles and the release of the money. I thought there would be, on the conservative right, howling, but apparently not even that.
I don't know. The right seems to be kind of anemic right now with doing anything. I mean, we can't even get Blanche as Attorney General.
No.
I mean, he's in the job, and it's like, okay, just sign that out of line. He's already doing it. What are you going to do? He's already been,
Well, the Save America Act by itself is just incomprehensible how they can't pass that, exposing their corruption, their election-leaning corruption to the world.
Oh, no, I agree. By the way,
you would think they were asking for early voting for fat white women to come from a church and go on a bus to vote early, you know, because they can't sign this legislation that is so unradical and so conservative in its structure. Again, it's just shocking that they can't pass this simplistic bill.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they sabotage themselves by putting, you know, other crap in it and not actually bringing it to a vote, because that's the other new trend is, oh, we don't have the votes for it. We can't bring it to the floor. It's like, well, bring it to the floor. We want to see everybody that votes against it.
Right. I was listening to
names that can't vote, and then you can target them.
I was listening to that guy, Hewitt, and there are pro-filibuster people on the right and anti-filibuster people on the right. People who say the Democrats going to do it, we might as well do it now to get our stuff passed. Hewitt and his other friends do not believe a word the Democrats are saying. I was listening to his show yesterday, and he believes getting rid of the filibuster before they do is the same as giving someone keys to a stolen car and helping them commit a crime. The analogy was so retarded that I don't even know what I was listening to. They believe that the Democrats are not going to do what they say. And you and I and many other rational people believe they are going to do what they say because they've done it in the past. They cannot pull the trigger on this filibuster, getting rid of it. That's really the problem, Eric.
Yeah, I know where they're coming from, and it goes all the way back to the nuclear option. Remember, with the Supreme Court, and I think McCain actually warned against it, and others.
Yeah.
And ironically, that did backfire on the Democrats because they got rid of it and they said, okay, it's straight up and down vote for Supreme Court justices.
Yep.
And then they had to eat a lot of justices.
Yeah.
So I think that Hugh is of the mindset, is a traditionalist. They don't like to deviate from the Constitution and what is already there for obvious reasons. But there is the problem of, well, that's not going to stop the Democrats, or even worse, the DSA. At this point,
they seem to be oblivious to any changes in the temperature of the earth. And I don't mean global warming. I mean political temperature. They just seem to think if we stay the course and don't do anything, everything will come out okay. I'm just slightly exaggerating for effect, but I think that's their mindset.
It could be. It could be.
We lost New York City. Okay. It'll take care of itself. We lost Chicago. We have a socialist there. What's the big deal? LA, the choice is between a communist or a communist. Who cares? I mean, at some point, they're going to overrun you like they did in Spain yesterday.
Well, as a matter of fact, right before we came on, I just saw something here. Wisconsin has a DSA candidate who now has a 96% chance of being the Democratic candidate for governor.
Right. Wisconsin's gone. She's going to dismantle Wisconsin.
Right. She was at 41%.
Yeah.
June 30th.
Yep.
So we're less or 1 month later, 96% now.
Yeah.
So that is frightening. And by the way, I'm stuttering on the screen everywhere.
No, not for me. You're not for me.
Not good. I hope.
No, you're fine. Fine. Right. Don't jinx it. Just go on. You're doing good. You're doing good. You look good. You're doing good. You are good. I'll continue. But the point Eric's making is absolutely correct. They're going to take it state by state, city by city, while people like you would fiddle while Rome burns. Remember, just remember to sit there and do nothing, because that's really the best policy.
Yeah, and it's a problem that, it's a conservative issue, because the conservative is the gentleman's side. It really is. It's kind of old-fashioned, has certain expectations, has standards, and then you're, again, facing the other side that has no standards, no expectations of any kind of civility, will, slice your throat if you turn around. I don't know if the analogy of, what was it? I don't know if this is a good one, but you mentioned about the difference between an alcoholic and a drug addict, and and wallets.
Right. If you lose your wallet, if an alcoholic loses his wallet, he tries to find it. If a drug dealer takes your wallet, he'll help you look for it.
And I would say that the Democrats are the drug dealers of the political parties.
Yeah, drug addicts. Yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, how long do we wait before something happens or something goes, or you declare the DSA an illegal party that wants to overthrow the government of the United States? I mean, look, I mean, they're begging for a McCarthy era to come back.
I'm begging for it to come back. God, something's got to happen. I mean, you've got to reverse the pressure, because right now I feel like the pressure is coming against the right, and it's been nothing but that onslaught of legal stuff against Trump. Now it's like Trump became elected,
right?
But they're not feeling any real pressure of any kind.
I mean, look how much power they have right now without controlling the Senate, without controlling the House, without controlling the Supreme Court, and without controlling the White House. Just think about it. It seems like the other party controls all of these areas of the government, not the conservative side. Imagine when and if that switches, how crazy they're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the right has not had enough punishment yet. Maybe they need another January 6th mass arrests, 90 indictments against their political presidential candidate. Maybe they still don't get it. Is it a learning curve?
I think it's partly that, but it's partly, to be honest, a lot of the Republicans were happy to see Trump get hemmed up anyway.
Right.
He wasn't the most popular.
No. I agree. I mean, they will cut their nose off to spite their face.
Yeah, and they hope for Hugh Hewitt again. He's kind of an old-timey, traditional Republican type. Eric Erickson is as bad or worse. So like every time he comes on, I kind of cringe when I see Eric Erickson. It's like, oh God, here we go. Eric Erickson is off it again.
Well, Hugh Hewitt was playing on his radio show the other day, the audio interviews, phone interviews that he did with Fauci during and after COVID. Apparently, he had a close relationship with Fauci until Fauci broke it off. Because Hewitt, after a number of these interviews, kept saying that the people are not taking the vaccine because they don't trust you personally. And he just lost his shit, Fauci, over this. And he just said, never spoke to him again it was about 6 interviews in a row. And he thought they were friends, Hugh Hewitt. And then Fauci wrote in his diary that Hugh Hewitt was a madman.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, just the stuff that came out of his diary were so humiliating. By the way, did you enjoy his opening statement? Not his words were just retarded, but his quivering hands.
Yeah, well, he's probably got Parkinson's or something. He did have
he wasn't quivering the whole time. He was livid, and he was more livid about the embarrassment of that diary coming out and him being dragged in front. They should be throwing
tip of the hat to RFK Jr., Eric. Tip of the hat for digging out the diary out of the government computers, bro.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? What exactly happened?
RFK Jr. went into the government computers and found, because Fauci was a government employee, those diaries, quote unquote, were not written in some pink book. They were written on government computers by a government employee, and Bobby Kennedy found them. And that's and his arch nemesis, if you read the Fauci book, which I highly recommend, by RFK Jr., which has millions of footnotes. It's one of the most well-documented nonfiction books I've read in decades. His arch nemesis is Anthony Fauci. So this entire thing has been orchestrated by RFK Jr.
Yeah, well, what I saw too, he said that Fauci wrote all this on a government computer. It shows the arrogance, by the way, because that means it's not his.
Yeah,
it's the government's. Yeah, so perfectly legal. And then he was, and you've talked about this before, he was emailing it to himself for an upcoming
book. Absolutely. That's why he kept it there. And somebody in that Bobby Kennedy office must have had a day that was so great when they uncovered it. I mean, I wish I could have been there for the day they uncovered the diaries. They must have broken out the champagne because it was so great. Not great on the Daily Show, by the way, that apparently is doing a parody of Two-Way. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, with the pipe. I saw that.
Right. But the subtext of it was that where can I read these diaries? The guy said, the host, the new Jon Stewart clone, said, I don't know anything about these diaries. And the guy was correct. Because of mainstream media stovepiping, there was no printing of the actual dialogue in any mainstream news source. So he was not incorrect. He thought these guys sounded deranged.
Yeah. And thus we know exactly the motive behind nothing being covered by any mainstream press.
Very effective, Eric.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
are you talking about? It never happened.
Very effective.
Yeah.
Very effective. I mean, totally Orwellian, but extremely effective.
Well, Orwellian, and what does Orwellian go to? Oh, it goes to communism. What do we have now? The DSA. I mean, it's just invading.
They couldn't even give you a better blueprint of what they're doing, and nobody seems to give a shit.
No.
I don't know. I mean, if the Chinese came down to 5 from Oregon with the military, they would suppress that information too.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, while we're talking about coming over the line, I'm surprised they're actually reporting about the Moroccans invading Spanish territory, which, by the way, was weird in of itself, that it's not mainland Spain. It's like a part, like a little chip off of Morocco, it appears that Spain owns, and they're just zooming into there. And then I saw the prime minister. That's exactly what he wanted. He's not backing away from it. He's saying, we got to comfort them.
He said that the right was growing too powerful and that he needed to offset the growth of power on the right. Now, Angela Merkel said a similar thing about why she allowed the Syrians in 10 years ago. They're not even hiding it anymore. There's a photo of George Soros Jr. with the Prime Minister of Spain embracing him. This is an attempt to change the vote in Spain. They don't care if they're on that little island. It's probably better off for them. Right. As long as they get to vote at some point by fast tracking their citizenship, they will stay in power for decades.
I always love it when people are saying that we say things or they infer things I know we didn't say, like
a lot of inferences in this group. A lot of inferences.
Yeah, like this one here. If it ever comes up, my computer's just crazy. Daily Show appreciators were running out of TLAs.
What is TLA?
I don't even know. I mean, but I'm like, just commenting that you saw something from the Daily Show doesn't mean that you're a fan of the damn thing. If you saw a clip somewhere,
these are trolls, bro. Fuck these people. Let's go.
I don't usually say that.
Who has time for this shit? The world's coming apart at the seams. I'm going to worry about some douchebag in Ohio.
It makes my head hurt. I'm sorry. I see this. Speaking of douchebags, she's not in Ohio, but I don't know if you saw Kamala. Nothing is coming up for me, so I'll just have to talk about it. Yeah. Kamala was out on stage and talking about guess what? Eliminating the Electoral College, and hacking the Supreme Court.
Right. She's making it up. It's just some fantasy. They're never going to do it, according to Hewitt and his clique. It's just some fantasy talking points. What a schmuck. What a schmuck.
She even said 13 Supreme Court justices to match the number of and to make sure that DC and Puerto Rico become states.
Right. They're bluffing. Why? What does that do? Get the people to vote for them because they're bluffing? Do they get the DC and Puerto Rico vote? Like, what is the bluff for?
They get
as opposed to actually doing it.
That what they get, obviously.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely running, bro. I did not see that coming. I thought that was first of all, I predicted she would take the governor job, which was much easier. That was a mistake. She didn't take that. Now they stuck in one of their apparatchiks, Xavier Becerra, who's going to win by 40 points over a bald-headed British guy from Fox News. Surprise. And then they'll own the state of California for 4 more years, possibly 8. Bass is probably going to win in LA, so she'll have 4 more years of her stuff doing socialist stuff in this city.
Well, it's not her, the other socialist.
Right, but I think the polls are indicating the incumbent. She's got an 8% group down in Compton that are all black that vote as a block for her that the other woman doesn't have. But nevertheless, they announced today they're going to ban drive-in fast food at hamburger. No. This is at the end because of the exhaust and the cars and everything. This will end the fast food industry. They were killed off quite a bit by the $22 minimum wage for fast food. This thing is, they get 80% of their revenue now from drive-through customers. Eliminating the drive-through customers will finish them off as a business. There's nowhere to park. You can't pull in. You can't go in the store. It completely alters the entire model of fast food in California.
Well, I mean, congratulations, California. That's all I can say. But obviously, I'm from the East Coast. Now, we don't have it in Virginia, but we believe so much in fast food in, say, North Carolina, that we have drive-throughs for not only fast food, but also liquor stores.
Yeah, I like that in New Orleans, too, that you could drive through, get a Go Cup, and keep driving. I always appreciated that in the Big Easy, that you could drive through, get a drink, and keep driving. Like I said, it's the greatest city on earth.
Exactly. Now, I kind of, like I said, I don't necessarily support all of it, but that just gives you an idea of the extremes. Yeah. And I think that it's looking like it's going to get even more and more and more polarized and more extreme. Like, Florida is getting further to the right. They just had the 2 executions in a day. Yeah. And people are making a big deal out of it.
You got to take a number now and sit in a waiting room.
Well, you know what?
To get executed.
Well, I mean, the guy, one of them was 80 years old, and I think he was been in there since the 1980s. He spent more time on death row than he's, had on the
He had a good run. The guy had a good run.
Yeah, it's like after 40 years, is it okay? Is it time?
Well, I mean, if you could tie up the court and tie up the system for 40 years and then cry, I'm too old to be executed, that's a great system.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's just wonderful. I did the crime at 40, but I successfully tied up the court with litigation and court documents. You can't execute me now. I'm 78.
And the thing is that there are people who actually listen to that and go, oh, he is kind of old to be executed.
Right.
I never thought of that. I'm like, yeah, you didn't think of it because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Retarded. It's mentally retarded.
Oh my God!
Well, that attorney general in Florida is going after Fauci, Eric. Hell or high water, bro. That guy's hunkering down for something.
I like that, and I don't always like what Rand Paul does, but Rand Paul did the hearing in a specific way. Even Jonathan Turley said that it was. He said it's quite clever.
Yep.
That his final question was, he specifically laid it out. He said, between, whatever date it was in 2014 until now, within the, your pardon period, did you, and he asked, a couple specific questions, which I thought was very well done because he literally, even tailored it to the immunity aspect of it. That Fauci had no jeopardy for that, and that's a good thing. That is,
again, nobody knows what they're doing in Florida, but he's doing something. So I assume he's got an angle on this thing legally.
I hope so, and I do hope to see that there is an actual contempt citation this next week. Yeah, I think Rand Paul will try to do it.
I think he's going to do that. I think he's definitely going to do that.
But see,
by the way, like you said,
the Bannon, that would be nice, right?
Yeah, why not? A bunch of these people who were in contempt of Congress, the economic czar, who was brought in manacles from the airport for not showing up for a subpoena and claimed executive privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a legitimate excuse.
Yeah, the only thing in Fauci's favor is he did show up.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
because of, his maneuvering, and, of course, Republicans had some fun with it. I was very impressed with Bernie Moreno, I think his name was.
Very good, Moreno. Where was he out of Ohio? Moreno, was that?
I think so. And I mean, and he laid it out well. And he said, I gave up all my businesses. I gave up everything else, 6 years ago, just so I can sit in front of you now and say, who the F do you think you are?
Wow, that was a great line by him.
It was, and it wasn't just the line. It was like backing it up. Like he gave up his entire life just for the purpose. And, it's like a friend of ours who actually ran for office in Canada, who, he failed ultimately. Moreno actually won. And I think it's awesome to see him actually there to lay this out. I also did enjoy, and as part of the title of the show, but how'd you like his smug ass lawyer getting?
Dude, that was great.
Ejected?
That was great. That was great. Technical foul number 23. Fauci's attorney removed. He was put into the penalty box for the rest of the game. That was great.
The attorney was such a smug bastard. He's just sitting there.
Well, I mean, he was right about it.
Away.
Rand Paul was right. You said you have your client taking the fifth. There's no legal right for you to speak on his behalf and be his mouthpiece. He was right. He says, you weren't invited here. I asked you to sit where I asked you to sit. You're not sitting there. And now you're interrupting the proceedings. You have no right to even be here.
Totally agree. And his smirky countenance, though, was just, I think he was surprised he actually got tossed, because he had to look like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he's kind of laughing about it smugly, but it wasn't cool. And then Moreno also brought up who he was. That was interesting.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know.
Yeah, he
I mean, I know he was his attorney, but
he defended the guy who hid the diamonds in the freezer, Menendez.
Oh, the gold bars in the freezer.
Gold bar, that's
Menendez,
right.
Menendez, the great senator of the great state, the Garden State of New Jersey.
Right. And Moreno was pointing out that if you see that lawyer, because that's his specialty, that means that person is totally effed.
Right. Right.
And they're in deep shit.
He's the totally fucked lawyer.
That's him. And
by the way, Menendez's son is now a government official in the state of New Jersey, elected official, and they come up to him saying, how's your poor father doing? We loved your father, by the way. We loved him.
Well, I believe they probably did.
Yeah. I mean, even confronted with a complete crook, people are so stupid that they just go, I feel so sorry for him that he's in prison right now. So sorry.
Yeah, nobody's feeling sorry for the Republican that went to prison and got commuted by Trump.
Yeah. Well, George Santos, you're talking about?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
My memory's slipping. Yeah. I don't hear any care for poor old George. He's screwed. So, all right. Like I said, I'm not able to pull up any stories, so I'm just going to have to read them and talk about them as we go.
That's cool.
What do you did you see this about the cyber attack on the Minnesota water system?
I didn't see that
Iran?
one. I didn't see that.
Yeah, apparently they're claiming that hackers, potentially funded by Iran, hit the water system in Minnesota, which wasn't actually running the water out. So it's a little bit spooky. And it's it's a New York Times. I mean, yeah, obviously New York Times will lie, but
you think?
Yeah, but it probably has some degree of.
Well, they have an agenda. It's anything for the New York Times. Not to be rude or anything. I just can't go there anymore. I can't go down those roads and research whether they're telling the truth or not. You know what I mean? It just takes too much valuable intellectual time to verify if this publication is telling the truth.
Well,
not that this is untrue. Again, I'm not talking about this particular story. I'm just talking about Mark Halperin seems to still love the New York Times. You know, he as does Trump. I mean, he's not alone. These people are institutional junkies who are addicted to the name on the top of a building, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
because
shocking.
that's what they grew up believing in.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to turn away, everything that has always meant something to you your entire life. Mark Halperin, I feel, is a lot like John Roberts. Complete institutionalist, it's always been this way, it should be that way. And a lot of it is almost clinging to a different time, like Mark Halperin. A lot of these people are operating as if it's Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich right now, or Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, that they're all going to go have a drink.
I know, it's
fighting
weird
all day long, and
it's
and that
weird.
there's a touch of class. And sadly, Lindsey Graham might have been one of the last of that old breed who actually did, go have drinks with the other side, if you will, or talk to people across the aisle and try to put legislation together from the other side. But they're dying out.
I know.
And there's very, very few.
Well, they can't seem to think that things change for reasons beyond my belief. The collapse of the Soviet Union, the collapse of Cuba, they still can't, as Cliff Robertson said to Condor at the end of 3 days of the Condor, when he's standing out in front of the New York Times building with these secret CIA documents that he has, what Cliff Robertson, who's his handler in the movie, says, the final line of the movie, how do you know they'll print it? And you could see the look on Condor's face, this being Robert Redford, that the guy planted that seed that he was right, that the New York Times might not print what he has gotten from the CIA. Yeah.
And why would they? I mean, as you pointed out, the Gray Lady Wink, that book.
Yeah. Great book.
There was other ones out there too, but that's probably the most prominent. The New York Times has been lying forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
and nobody could figure out their agenda. It's not like, you get the Wall Street Journal, you go, okay, it's a right of center, financial based thing. They kind of operate in that universe. The Times will cherry pick things that they will not tell you the truth about, and they're not even connected. How does lying about the Holocaust help the New York Times? You know what I mean? How does the lying of the beginning of World War II by saying the Poles invaded Germany, how does that help the New York Times? Some of these lies that they've perpetuated over the years seem to be completely unconnected to anything.
Yeah. You know what? Somebody has a super chat. This is a totally great question, legit.
Okay.
What is the best source for unbiased news in the U.S. currently? I would say, personally, I don't know that there is any source for unbiased news, but I actually trust the news more that's open about their bias. For example, if the Daily Wire reports something, Daily Wire unabashedly is coming from the right, from a conservative angle, probably pro-Israel. There's certain elements of it. They don't hide the ball. They don't pretend that they're something that they're not.
It's a good point.
And there are leftist outlets too, where, again, where they're coming from, what their basic view is, but they will at least be truthful with the statement. It's usually like, just find the ones that at least will look up at the sky and say that it's blue. So that's a good standard. So if everybody agrees that at least we're dealing with a blue sky, then we could talk about the chemtrails, whether they're there or not. But
my answer is you got to do your own research. That's my answer.
That's true.
I'm sorry that it's a lazy answer to, it's not a lazy answer. It's just, if you're lazy, you're not going to get the answer. You got to do your own digging.
Well, and I'm not going to call people lazy. A lot of people.
No. I'm not. I would love to, for my own fat ass, be able to go to a website and get the truth. I don't live in that fantasy world where I'm just going to go to a website and here are the facts for the week. That doesn't exist. I mean, I got to do that work to find what I perceive to be the truth. I wish there was a source, but right now in my mind, for the past 20 years, that's a fantasy. That's a fantasy.
Well, and there is somebody I'm trying to get as a sponsor.
Yeah.
That, hopefully we can get it as a sponsor and maybe even get a kickback from it. But there is a source called Ground News that isn't too bad. Again, they're not sponsoring the episode. I hope that they will at some point, and they at least will put up a story and they will say, this is who's reporting it. These outlets are reporting it like this. These outlets are reporting it like this. These outlets are generally perceived as right wing. These are perceived as left wing. And then here's kind of a gauge.
I've seen that before.
How it's being reported. And that's, about as good as you're going to get, I think, in today's time, to at least get a feel for the spin of which way things are going.
That's about as good as you're going to get.
So,
I mean, the thing has been totally corrupted. That's why I opened the show talking about the Chinese communist money. Whatever website Eric or anybody's talking about, what's to stop the Chinese from paying them? Nothing. There's no barriers anymore. So I
that's
I can't,
like fact checking. I mean, all the fact checking sites are funded, and
right. So how many times are we going to keep getting deceived? You have to do your own research, people. I know it sounds harsh, but that's the reality of where we are.
And check us too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't have an agenda. To be honest with you, I don't really have an agenda. I'm just trying to find the truth myself.
Right, and we're not 100% correct.
No.
The only thing that I can personally be is honest. So if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. But I'm not, trying to put my thumb on the scale or push a message. It's, hey, this is how I feel. This is what I think. And at least you know where I'm coming from, I hope. But
dark times.
It's both dark and hopeful, because, sometimes I step back and I'm like, how bad is it really? Because I'm steeped into the news with you twice a week. We're doing this. I'm always researching, and, it's kind of depressing. It's kind of like it's always a conflict. It's always
especially when you're in power. That's what I said to you a couple minutes ago. It's not like we have the Democrats running the table. We are in charge of every aspect of the government and still can't function. And I hear all these theories like, well, they're traditionalists, they're conservative, they want to play golf, they're rhinos, whatever the fucking story is, the bottom line's the same. They control, well, it's not a big enough lead. If we had another 50 seats, we might be able to get something done. It's always about tomorrow.
I think that you are correct with the they. Who is they? And as you step back and you look, they is everyone there. The uniparty theory is not necessarily wrong.
Well, tell the DSA that it's a uniparty and see how fast they laugh in your face.
Okay, tell the woke right it's a uniparty, see how fast they laugh in your face. Whatever. The DSA does see it as a uni-party. The Democrats and Republicans.
Oh, they're just saying they're not in it, though.
Oh, well, until they are. They're not in it until they're running it. So, whoever's in charge is going to automatically try to protect their power in general.
True that.
So, by the way, the person was asking, why am I not wearing an AUS logo shirt? Pay attention. Absolutely, I'm wearing an AOS logo shirt. This is a very fine t-shirt, and you can get one yourself down in the description. And you can get a cap like Mark has on. But anyway, I just don't know. I will say though that when I step back sometimes just for a day or whatever and just try to look at everything in life, it's like, oh, is it that bad out? I don't know. So it is.
I don't know, but apparently the guy the woman who was testifying on behalf of the Smithsonian was not the person in charge. This old black guy is making like $5 million a year, being in charge of the Smithsonian, and I guess they subpoenaed the wrong person to testify the other day because this guy is the guy in charge of the place.
The DEI guy who said that DEI is critical to it, and you know what, that's a great point. Why is it that these people who believe so hard in DEI have these just nosebleed salaries?
It's incredible. Nosebleed is correct. Nosebleed is correct.
I mean, it's remarkable.
I mean, the money being paid out by these institutions is breathtaking for a job where you just sit there and watch TV all day. Doesn't give a fucking shit. This guy doesn't do a goddamn thing all day. You've got a museum Guess what? Museums just sit there. It's not like it's Coca-Cola bottling where the conveyor belt blew up last week, Bob, and we got to bring in nuts and bolts. He's running on a death museum, a museum of dead products, commemorating death, essentially. And yet he has to take in $4 to $5 million a year, which is a payoff to DEI and Black Lives Matter.
Right. And the sad truth is a lot of these DEI hires that are making that kind of eye-popping money, you don't really want them to have any responsibility, because then they really burn some shit down.
Right. Well, he wasn't the curator of the place. He was just a figurehead above that, they got the bat signal from him and began to curate it into an anti-American house of cards.
Which, yeah. I mean,
by the way, speaking of house of cards, the Gascon administration of the DA's office is now getting wealthy because he tortured every veteran prosecutor in Los Angeles when he took power in 2020, Eric. And they said, we're going to sue you, and we're going to sue the city. And he said, knock yourselves out. Well, the chickens have come home to roost in LA. And every one of these prosecutors is now being paid out by the LA County government in the tune of millions of dollars, because Gascon took the top criminal prosecutors and sent them out to the hinterlands to file documents. And they vowed to get even. And this week, the evening started to happen from the Gascon administration.
I'm going to have to check with, I don't know if you know her, but Emily D. Baker came out of that. She was there with Gascon. She gave up. She was like, I can't, screw this. I can't handle this place. And that's when she became an independent YouTuber.
Well, there's a long list of people getting paid. So, I mean, the list is really long. It might be 123 people who worked in the DA's office. The first thing he did was get rid of the gang crimes, get rid of the, all these different units. And they were appalled. They went to the press, and then he said, you're going against me. I'm going to have to destroy you. And now their chickens are coming home to roost.
This is one of those that I have mixed feelings about. And it seems to be such a LA or California thing that they're very loose with the purse. Like, it's so
easy. They love
to settle. They love to just throw it all out.
Because they to answer your question, the financial people extrapolate the cost of the trial, and they come up with this is 10 times cheaper to just pay it out. Win or lose.
See, I'm kind of the scorched earth.
They did for years. They did. And they lost a lot of money. And finally, they came up with this. They did have scorched earth. They did go to trial every time to no avail. It just cost them millions more. I think it evolved to this as a cost savings device.
Well, I'm going to say that it's because of the incompetency in whom they hired or something, because there are other people who are very, very scorched earth, and they're known for not paying much money at all, period.
Well, these guys were like the biggest names in prosecution in LA for high profile crimes. I mean, these people were high profile prosecutors, the top in their field. Sure. And that's the ones he got rid of.
Right. No, he's an idiot. That's what I'm saying. So,
he's a Marxist. He's a Cuban Marxist. I don't know if he's an idiot, but he said, I'm going to dismantle this department and dismantle the Justice Department of the county, and he did it. Whether he's an idiot or not, that's subject to who you're talking to. He did what he said he was going to do, and now they don't have a legal leg to stand on.
You know what is ironic with somebody like him and that mindset? That's a feature, because I think they really want to destroy the entire government, the entire state, and everything they're doing. So in a way, he dismantles it, and then he gets sued, and now they don't have money, so it just keeps destroying them further.
Yeah, that's a win-win. I mean, keep in mind, he defeated a black woman who was the first black DA in a big city in American history. He defeated her. She went to bed with a lead, woke up, and Gascon was the district attorney of Los Angeles. This woman, Lacey, was a perfectly fine middle of the road Democratic district attorney. He defeated her in a shocking election that a black woman would lose to a white Marxist Cuban. Just doesn't fit the profile. Of course, the money that came in was tons and tons of money from George Soros to defeat Lacey. But nevertheless, he had been run out of San Francisco for destroying San Francisco's thing. And now I think he went back to Cuba. I mean, the people involved in these foreign interventions, whether you look at Mandami from Uganda, if you look at these people, they're all coming from foreign countries. The woman who's running, Nithya Raman, who's running against Karen Bass, she born and raised in India. Again, this is so bizarre, and Eric and I have talked about that there needs to be legislation to prevent non-natural native-born people from ruling over us.
She's one of the Indians that Dinesh D'Souza was talking about, right? How?
Yeah, Kami Indians. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Why
not come here? You could get elected. Her husband's a big wig at film TV director. They live in a $3 million mansion separate from her. And he's in the film business. I mean, look at Mandami's family. The mother was the head of not the DSA, the DGA, the Directors Guild of America.
Yeah. I get frustrated, and my mind is blown by these people that benefit so much by the system.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people, I'm not going to say aren't hard workers, some of the people that come up through Hollywood and they do movies and things, it's like, no, that's a hustle.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But for them to come out of a system where it's only possible here for them to attain what they did,
meaningless,
only to burn it down.
Meaningless.
That's evil. It is beyond evil.
Well, the merger of the left and Hollywood has been growing for years, and now they're completely intertwined. They are completely meshed as one giant blob. And one creates fantasy lies, the other one utilizes fantasy lies. They're both intermingled now, intellectually, politically, financially, socially. It used to be they were friends of politicians. They were out here, but it's just so meshed now between the two groups.
Yeah, it's like McCarthy never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was it? The Coen brothers, didn't they do literally a movie, all about the communism and Hollywood in the 40s, discussing all of that?
It was the one with George Clooney, I think.
Clooney was in it. Yeah,
blowhard movie star. Now, let me ask something. Do you think McConnell's alive, dead, or on machines? You can ask the audience there. I like to take a poll what the audience thinks. Alive, dead, machines. 3 choices.
I don't know, but I did like the Babylon Bee article or headline that I sent you, which was that he's had a 47-day period of silence for Lindsey Graham.
Oh, that was funny. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
So that's what I think it is.
I mean, we could have had a twofer, in the funeral of both of them together, and gotten it over with.
Well, and it is kind of one guy disappears, and they're showing proof of life photos of him, and then the other guy dies.
Yeah,
it's like the one who's actually traveling around the world and all that is suddenly dead. It's like,
and they're kind of like states from the Southeast. They're both Republican, rhino types. A lot of overlap.
Yeah. Well, Kentucky. I mean, one good thing came out of Kentucky this week, and that is Rand Paul's handling of Fauci. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry, I'll get back to criticizing Rand Paul later. But he is good on that particular front.
That's his superpower. Well, he is a doctor, so
he is a doctor, and apparently he did a lot of eye surgeries for Doctors Without Borders. I guess he does it now, even on recess, and I have a lot of respect for somebody who does, perform that kind of task to help others. you're going to get a little respect. I might not agree politically, but that is a good service. It's kind of like if somebody is a soldier and they've served very well, I will respect their service, even though I may not like anything else about it.
Right. That's a good point.
So, got a super chat here from Jack White, the famous White Stripes, coming in here hot, saying with $50, the problem is that the correspondent in question was a Nazi sympathizer, and the New York Times was eventually made aware of this fact, but they wouldn't get rid of the correspondent in question because they didn't want to lose their access. I think you're talking about Gray Lady Wink and
no. But the Berlin correspondent for the New York Times was a Nazi supporter. But you could go down the line. I mean, the reporter that covered the Soviet Union was a supporter of the Soviet Union and completely lied about life in the Soviet Union for decades. So again, it doesn't absolve the New York Times because you were duped by the so-called people you hired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always this fallback that they were, incompetent, the New York Times. It doesn't hold up after repeated errors going in the same direction, as Eric's pointed out.
Yeah. That's that stupid or liar question.
Yeah, stupid or liar. Yep.
It distills it so perfectly. It's like, okay, now there's a certain point
where the liar will use stupid to get the heat off his back.
Exactly. Oh,
I'm so sorry. I was stupid about that. I know that I supported Stalin all those years, and I wrote hundreds of articles saying how great Stalin was. I was very stupid.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll write another one tomorrow.
Yeah. This just came out. Yeah.
Speaking of that, Graham Plattner has been officially replaced in Maine. And Graham Plattner had issues with just about everybody, including women. And well, it appears that Troy Jackson, his replacement, well, he likes to keep it in the family.
Oh boy. What are you trying to say? There's something wrong with Troy Jackson now?
Well, I'm not going to say that there's something wrong. It's a little bit odd. It's technically legal.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fathered 2 kids with his second cousin.
Telephone call for Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis telephone.
Now, I think that was Jerry's first cousin, but anyway,
well,
I'm just
he married her.
Wow.
So.
Well, and I'm sorry, when we have Islamic infiltration coming out left and right, and they're kind of famous for cousin marriages, especially in Pakistan and other areas. And so this is somebody saying, oh, wait, no, it's not limited. It's not limited to those countries. We can do it here, too. And we can also run for office.
That's the first of some Oppo research, right? That's coming out on him immediately. The race in Michigan is really fascinating because, again, this is a congresswoman who is a lefty being beaten by an Islamicist who will not embrace publicly the DSA. Yet the DSA is supporting him. This is El Said I'm talking about. El Said just claims, I am an Islamicist. Go fuck yourselves. He's Mandami without the TSA. And yet the DSA says, okay, we're going to come and support you. And he said, thank you very much. He did this wonderful commercial with the AOC this week. The woman is now losing by, I want to say 30 points. The leftist from Michigan, and she's targeting black voters in Michigan, hoping that they will defeat the Arabs in Michigan. This is a black versus Arab fight in Michigan.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see which way it goes. I think Wayne Rogers is the Republican who's running. And I think a lot of people market is enormously favoring El Said this morning. So well, that's what I worry about is I fear that the Republicans are going to get blindsided because we're so happy that the somewhat normal Democrats are getting defeated by these DSA people, thinking that, we're just going to go kick their ass. But the problem is some of them are going to win.
Yep.
And it's the momentum of late and this summer. I never thought I'd say it, but they have the momentum. They have the
without a doubt,
energy.
of course.
They are the MAGA of the left, as I think
Right.
you said.
I'm just saying
and
El
that's scary.
Said, who's working with them, is a Hamas supporter,
Sure.
death to Israel, pro-Iranian Arab out of Michigan. And nobody seems to give a shit. You know, they're embracing him as if he's a far left DSA person like themselves.
I know. And that's scary to me, because again, you get enough of them and now all of a sudden they have a block.
Yeah.
And I know I talked about it a few weeks ago, and I totally agree with it. It's not a problem if their numbers are below 5%. But once they become higher, they get in that 10% territory, all of a sudden they take over.
Yeah.
And,
well, the regular Democrats are terrified of them, so no one will denounce them.
Yeah. Which is on them. I mean, it's like, you squeezed out Hillary Clinton of all people. You squeezed out Bernie Sanders. Do it. You've got the gears. You've got the mechanisms.
Well, the only thing this is a great fight. This is like the Nazis versus the communists in North Carolina in the 80s in the shootout. This is blacks versus Arabs. And I don't know who to root for in this particular case, but I'm going to root for the blacks over the Arabs.
Oh, I will. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, but this is the war that you're going to be hearing more about in the Democratic Party as we get closer to Election Day. Arabs versus the base of the Democratic Party, which was blacks.
Yes.
The Arabs have money and momentum and foot soldiers, and the blacks are getting older, more docile within the political spectrum, and the change on the civil rights law, voting, and also the gerrymandering. A lot of weakness, and then they're replacing them smartly with these Arabs.
All right. Well, yeah, they were talking about that on one of the shows recently, and it is a sad but true thing that the CBC, that's specifically who you're talking about, the Congressional Black Caucus, is old. And I mean, who is it? That crazy bitch out of California. She's like 90 now. Or
Maxine Waters also out of
Water. Yeah, I mean but that's representative of a lot.
They got entrenched. They got entrenched, and they never turned over their seats to younger people. They hunkered down and made a fortune. The old black guy in South Carolina. I mean, Clyburn. You know, all of this bullshit is really about them not turning over power to a younger version of themselves. They refuse to do that out of greed, fame, money, whoredom, whatever you want to make of it. And now those chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah. And the thing is that we could all be screwed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not just the Democrats. I love that they're feeling the heat, but unfortunately, they're just feeling it first.
You know, at their peak, remember in the 70s and 80s, how powerful the Congressional Black Caucus was. Think about the Arab version of the Congressional Black Caucus in 5 to 8 years, how powerful they're going to be.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I hate Israel anyway, Mark, so what do I care?
Right. And by the way, they do think generationally, and they do hand it down to younger people, etc., as well, that are all of the same mindset, that have been trained since childhood with a certain mentality. So,
by the way, you know what I noticed? That there's no anti-war protests against the situation in Iran. Did you notice this?
Yeah, nobody.
They're privately hoping it continues, so they are not having street protests. This is the only war I can remember where the left was not out in the street protesting. There's crickets, dead silence. This is radically unusual for them, and I believe it's intentional.
I believe you are correct on that, and I also believe that it's truthfully a bigger case of nobody likes Iran.
Well, they do. The Carter administration, also the Obama administration, loved Iran. I mean, she spoke fluent Farsi, his advisor. She was born in Tehran. There was a lot of love and a lot of pallets of cash going to Tehran during Obama's time. I don't know if every single person in his administration loved Iran, but there were certain elements in there. even in the Biden administration, Eric, that had to be weeded out when Trump took office again. There were Iranian sympathizers in there recently.
Well, there's obviously tools, but I'm just saying in terms of even the Arab world, Iran is kind of an adversary. I'm not going to say an enemy necessarily, but
okay,
most of the Arabic countries don't really like Iran. Iran's kind of a pain in everybody's ass over there. And the thing is that they kind of get on just fine. I mean, look what they've been able to overcome, hold up against. And I think a lot of leftists like, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. If anything, they're useful.
I'm just surprised that there's no code pink protests in the streets of the United States against this war.
No, it is ironic because, because they did damn sure protested against Hamas being attacked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
again, I am shocked that nothing's happening. I mean, somebody put out the bat signal that they don't want it. They want this president to stew in his own juices.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
I think they do. And the problem is that they have friends on the so-called right who want it as well.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there's very little daylight between them.
I know.
Like Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden go way back.
Foreign policy, they're on the same page. Death to the Jews.
Yes.
But that being said, isn't today Gaza Peace Day, Eric?
I'm very confused about that because it sounds like it's another one of those announcements by Trump that there's a plan that's going to happen, but at least one party has not acknowledged it or said that they were going to do it. So I'm kind of confused, but go ahead and fill me in and tell me.
I don't know what to do. They have tens of thousands of guns and rocket launchers. This is the military wing of Hamas. And there's on
which
paper,
is Hamas, right?
Yeah, which is Hamas.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is the military wing.
On paper, they have agreed as part of this deal to surrender their weapons. Mm-hmm. Until they surrender their weapons, there is no deal. The idea that they're going to surrender their weapons, to me personally, is preposterous. Other people may think it's pie in the sky. It may be a J.D. Vance. They're cool guys. They're willing to cooperate type of theory. But this came to fruition or came to the surface today because Trump is talking about implementing the deal with Hamas. Okay, time to turn over the weapons. I mean, even the Confederates were reluctant to turn over their weapons to General Grant at the end of the Civil War. Nobody wants to turn over their weapons, Eric, right?
Well, because then there is nothing left. I mean, it's kind of a... Yes, the Confederates, it was like turn over and go home.
Right.
And ultimately, it took Robert E. Lee saying, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And the fact that everybody involved was Americans. But yeah, I don't.
Right. All I'm saying is
what purpose do they have? If they don't have a war, and that war has been funding them for a long time, getting input, everything else. What do they in fact have? A refugee camp somewhere?
They have nothing. That's why I never thought that they would. They signed a piece of paper, but it's meaningless. That's like Geronimo signing a piece of paper back in 1852 or something. Meaningless. They don't care about the piece of paper. The Iranians violated that memorandum of understanding, within 48 hours, Eric, of signing it? Yeah. Nobody said a word about that MOU, by the way, in weeks. I never heard that word again.
Well, I never understood it anyway. So
either did I.
So it's like, okay. So I don't know what's going to happen, but you're right, though. Nobody really cares. Not only is there no protest.
Yeah.
But
I think they do care. I just can't get my mind around that they don't care.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
The polling is confusing.
Yeah.
It should be a lot worse. Let me put it that way. It's almost like,
is it no ground troops? Is that why?
Well, the no ground troops is a major part of that. I don't think we really care all that much.
They've protested things for far less than no ground troops. They've been in the streets.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So and the gasoline prices are up.
Right.
And really, that's more of the concern is the gasoline price than any lives that are lost. Sadly, that's the state we're in. But yeah, I'm not going to say that the Republicans are doing great. They're not. Okay. But it's not as bad as I would think it would be right now.
Yeah, I just think they don't want to call attention to themselves and let Trump bury himself by continuing whatever he's doing. In other words, by not protesting, they're silently acknowledging that we like what's going on based on their history is what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm confused.
I mean, nobody's mentioned this. And I was wondering, like, where are the editorials calling for protest? I mean, no kings is a separate thing against Trump. It's not an anti-war protest.
You're right. No, we'll go against ICE before we will a war.
I know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah, but then we are very internally focused right now as a country. I think both sides are saying, hey, you know what? I want the economy to be better. You promised it was going to be better. Is it going to be better soon? And maybe this is a symptom of that. It's like, no, we've got problems here at home, whether they're real or imagined, like ICE, is not to me a big problem at home, but people are concerned about it. So maybe that's it. We're kind of an isolationist mentality right now. And as long as there's not ground troops that we know of over there, we're more focused on our internal squabbling, if that makes sense.
All I know is that Jean Pirro is calling for the dismissal of charges against the Olympian who damaged the reflecting pool, claiming she does not have the evidence to convict him.
Okay. So she goes on in news conferences and spouts all kinds of fire and then says, oh, never mind.
She's actually calling for the dismissal of the charges. The prosecutor that Trump has coveted with the laurels is now realizing they fucked up.
Well, it's appropriate for her to do that. I mean, if you don't have it, but Jesus, that's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. Let me see. Jack White sent in another $50 super chat a while ago, I think, to clear things up. But he said,
"Oh, okay,
that $50 super chat was the last part of an example of a lie the New York Times told. Another example is the correspondent you referred to earlier, Mark Walter Durante. He also told a bunch of lies to ensure we would get involved in Vietnam."
Yeah, I mean, Durante. Thank you, Jack. I mean, Durante was their German Nazi version for the Soviets. I mean, they had guys in every capital lying back to them about the situations going on in those countries. Spinning it on behalf of the countries or dictators or fascist regimes that they were supposedly covering. And he's right about the Durante thing.
And he's going to go broke too because he's continuing. I hope you don't go broke here. I meant after World War II ended and Durante was probably leaned on by FDR because one of the FDR's first pieces of business after getting elected president was going to be to acknowledge the Soviet Union as the sole legitimate governing party of Russia. And he
was in there for a long time, but Jack White's got a green one now.
Well, I know he's got several.
He's run out of money at this point. He's groveling to us now.
I know. And if Durante had reported the truth about a man-made famine in the Ukraine, would FDR, the bitter cripple, cousin effing socialist, been able to do that?
That's an interesting internal domestic question. But when you're covering up the mass starvation of millions of people, I think there might be some bigger fish to fry, other than whether FDR would be able to deal with it. I mean, they lied about the death of 20 million people in the Ukraine by starvation from Stalin. That's a pretty big lie, Eric.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Well, Mao Zedong said, "Hold my beer."
Right.
Later on, but yeah. I mean, that's a sad thing.
I'm just telling you, there's a long record of the New York Times doing this, going back in time, where I can no longer read an article and know if it's true or not. I've been burned so many times that I don't ever pick up the periodical. I don't care. that it says the Gray Lady or New York Times or all the news that's fit to print. I don't give a shit. Every institution in our country has been attacked, dismantled, and shown to be corrupt. Why would I think the New York Times was not one of them?
I agree, and the New York Times is one of the worst. I mean, like you brought up Wall Street Journal earlier. I mean, we can have criticisms about the Wall Street Journal, but in general, I would trust the Wall Street Journal over the New York Times by a mile.
Well, nobody did in the old days. They looked at it as a right-wing rag back when the Democrats were in power. It was completely discredited.
Right, because it was business friendly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the... But anyway, you know, I've got a slew of super chats. You guys are actually helping support us, and half of them are Jack White, it appears. But all right, we got Gen X Craig. Fauci's Senate hearing just exposes more of how the corrupt MSM is and has been. Fauci has an auto-pen pardon from Biden, yet he can't even answer what color his tie is. Trump 2028. Yeah,
well,
or the color of the carpet.
Oh, they call the carpet. You know, I'll tell you this: the left has so thoroughly brainwashed and made Fauci into a hero that they are stunned. In other words, there's no way to chip out what they perceive Fauci to do. It's never going to happen. They have and they, like I said last week, they do this with people who they take into the deep state, especially scientists and others that they want to do their bidding. You could look at the guy Fanzone from DC Police. This has been done repeatedly. When they start giving you medals of honor, congressional medals, and all these different things, that means they want to own and control you and heroicize you, which they have done with Fauci, to where the granite is so hardened that nobody could chip away at the Fauci legacy, in my humble opinion.
Well, yes.
I mean, even what's his face on TMZ said, this is the new McCarthyism.
Levin. Oh, yeah.
Harvey Levin. Look, Harvey Levin's not the intellectual face of the Democratic Party, but he represents the average man, even though he's a closeted gay guy. The reality of Harvey Levin saying that is what they're talking about behind the scenes as a talking point, that this is a McCarthyistic tactic, again, going to that well for the 9 millionth time. To bring up Senator McCarthy as a defense.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you don't have that much, you keep repeating it. But
yeah,
I personally think with Fauci, it's an extreme case because they worshiped him. So it's not like
but I'm saying
it's not like he's just a popular guy and then he gets torn down. No. They slathered all over him.
Did you see Julia Roberts?
Yes, she's just one of many. And the songs and the what was this? Somebody sitting there singing Dr. Fauci, you know, and I mean, they were just
going, how about the action figure, the Fauci action figure?
Yes.
But it's all of this. It's all part of the immortalizing him, to immortalize what they did with COVID, to cover up the biolabs and the being in bed with the Chinese Communist Party over this bio warfare attack. The stakes are extremely high, Eric, and they reflect how high they're willing to go to protect their inner crimes that they've done.
Right, but what I'm saying is the people who aren't the criminals, the suckers, aren't going to change because they just look so stupid. There's too much footage of them just saying, oh, he was wonderful, that they will look just completely like the lowest goofballs on the planet.
No, they could control the
never
footage.
Back away from it.
Think about the night that Obama woke up in the middle of the night. Next morning, he embraced gay marriage. There was billions of hours of footage of his apparatchiks in the media saying they were opposed to gay marriage. The next day, they had to say they were in favor of gay marriage. Every single one of these apparatchiks. They could have run the footage that existed that you're referring to in that particular case, but they didn't. You could have run that footage all day about every one of them saying, I'm against gay marriage and now I'm for gay marriage. They just don't run it. It's there. It's there.
It could be, but again, even the people who are saying that would say, you know, I appreciate that they have their situation, but we don't. It's much softer. It's not like I want to name my child Anthony because he's so wonderful. Again, it was so over the top that they just looked.
Right. Well, all I'm saying is the extreme they went to is a reflection of their need to immortalize him for the crimes they committed. So the reason you're seeing that pile of bullshit so high is the stakes are that high.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Early one from Jack White. What are your guys' thoughts on Barris and Barnes' doomsday predictions about the midterms? We'll see.
We'll see. I have no idea.
Ken Martin. Let's see. The number of people who ignore the DSA is equal to the number who fell in line against our freedoms during the Rona.
No, I don't know about that.
More so.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe. I don't know the numbers there.
There are alarm bells going off, and it's not only Republicans. The Democrats, they do know it.
Yeah.
But it's bad. I'm not going to pretend it's good. Diffuse 56 Tractor Guy gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships, which is always deeply appreciated. Thank you. William Ratcliffe, been a lot of Gov users deleting their diaries. I bet a lot of Gov users are yes, but there's something called backups.
Yeah, that's what they found was the backup. He just didn't leave it on their doorstep. They dug into it.
Well, here's the funny thing is his arrogance and stupidity. They may not have found it on his computer.
Right.
But as soon as he emailed it, it crossed into the server logs, and all emails are backed up naturally by the system.
There's a reason that Hillary Clinton took a hammer to those servers and to all of that stuff, a physical hammer. And yet that was unprosecutable, according to James Comey.
Mm-hmm.
She literally smashed government servers and government emails because she knew what you just described was true.
Actually, she went one further. She redirected the entire pipeline of the email to control the in and out of the server, which she then bleach bit and smashed and everything.
Well, don't forget, even Obama
she took it like out of it.
Even Obama had a phony name to interact with her. The president of the United States had an online pseudonym so he could go around illegally government website laws and government server laws that were created to prevent this from happening.
And it's dark. Mike Schaefer, what happened to Anthony Madison Trump's fault? $2.
Trump got him, bro. Trump got him. Went down there and got him. Went down to Australia and got that bitch. No, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. What the hell? I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. I haven't seen Pew Pew for a while either. I don't know what's up. Charlie Don't Surf. Great show, gentlemen. Member for 24 months, 2 years. Yeah, thank you, sir. Charlie FLA. Okay, he's redacting his own super chat. Under advice of counsel, I will exercise my Fifth Amendment rights to withhold my comment.
You know, to be fair, I mean, if he didn't do that, it would have been a circus.
That's true.
Yeah.
But well deserved.
Yeah.
And it does make you question, like, because he blanketed it, you know, like if he did answer any off question or whatever, then there might have been a problem. Oh, you answered that, you can't answer this and that. So, but I don't know. Let me see. Lisa Deed said source, not souse.
Is she correcting her own spelling?
Somebody's.
I see.
I don't know.
Right.
But thank you. Oh boy, let's see here. Jeffrey Plurden, just want to let you guys know that I left you for a couple of months thinking that there's better podcasts out there, and you know they all went Hollywood, and you guys stay true.
No, I said that. I said that half a year ago. I said, go ahead, go out there and find, because so many people were going, go fuck yourself. You didn't support that I love peanut butter. You didn't support the V8 engine. You didn't support that I'm a carpenter. They're all crazy excuses. I said, go out to the hinterlands. See what the other people are doing. You'll be back.
Well, there you go. Welcome back, though.
Welcome
Jeffrey.
back.
We're happy to have you, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Watch those other bitches. You'll be back.
Let's see. Jack White is back.
See what I mean? Jack White knows.
All right. To answer your earlier question, Mark, a lot of establishment Republicans are swimming in the same corrupt cesspool that a lot of Dems are. Yes.
I know.
Lobbyists,
I understand that
they're
in government together. I mean, I understand that, but I mean, there's so many more layers to the prevention of them being removed. You couldn't get Lindsey Graham out of there in a million years. You couldn't get Mitch McConnell out of there in a million years. I mean, until Trump came along and started primarying people, they were completely entrenched.
Yeah. And the sad thing is that a lot of what he's done, we won't even see the benefit of until he's out of office.
Yeah.
Because, Cassidy's still in there. McConnell's
Well, how about Cornyn? How about Cornyn blowing this?
There, walking, and
confirmation
there, and
vindictive sons of bitches as they're going out, still dismantling the system that they perpetuated and undermined.
Which is ironically just proving how it was correct to get them out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like if there was ever any question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if there was any question of whether they should have been out, well, their actions are speaking.
Yeah.
The town marshal of my hometown, Lynn, Indiana, was struck and killed by a stolen car while trying to put out stop sticks. There has to be a better way to do it. Great show, by the way. The town marshal.
Better way to what? Stop a vehicle with they use strips here. I mean, we use strips here to stop vehicles. I know the cops are very adept at manipulating them. The physicality of it is really how they work. Getting them ahead of the guy, but not too far ahead, picking them up and then moving. I mean, it's a whole science out here.
Oh, well, I mean, it is everywhere.
I'm talking about spike strips.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is a dangerous thing. I mean, anybody who's going into a car chase is automatically upping the dangerous, principle.
They had a great one the other day where the guy pulled over and got gas.
I know, we played it here.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying that guy got away, and something like, they don't want to admit it, but about 40% get away, from these so-called high-speed pursuits. We had a motorcycle guy who also went into a gas station a couple of years ago and filled up.
You were bringing up a point that I just found out recently, and it startled me, because if you watch television now and everything else, and about DNA and all the CSI effect, et cetera, do you realize that more murderers are getting away with it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It is actually, they're hit a point, and then now it's starting to.
We've been watching some true crime stuff. One of them is People Magazine has on Discovery, and half of the people, either their trials take so long, or they're not prosecuted, or they bungle the case, and there's no conviction at the end. I mean, I've never seen so many cases that were open and shut that are presented in these formats that you're talking about, and end up not convicting the guy.
Well, I know we're looking at it, somebody trying to pull that off right now with Tyler Robinson and Candace Owens and her ilk, are literally trying to say if they can, in my opinion, get a person who, by, I think, any reasonable account, looks guilty as hell, off. But there are other cases, where they have actual DNA, and it's like, wait a minute, you had DNA? And the person that knew who it was, and I've
seen a bunch of these of late where they're sitting on DNA and they just go, there's not enough evidence to prosecute. We're just going to move on. I don't know if it's incompetence of small town cops or what the deal is, because a lot of these are smaller cities. There was one in New Jersey where they literally had so much evidence. It was just staggering.
Well, that's the thing too. I kind of understand the DNA when you're talking about like the late 80s, early 90s, when it was just coming in. It was like, we could send it off, but it's going to take 6 months to get through the lab. And, and it's so expensive. Now it's like, there's 23andMe, there's Ancestry.com, there's a million DNA. People are sending in their own DNA. You could run it against family databases. It's almost free. Why aren't you just running it? It makes no sense. It's confusing. Jack White. Okay, we're going back, I jumped to the big numbers. Some of this is kind of backfilling, but anyway. Book recommendation, The Gray Lady Winked, a book that goes in New York Times history of misrepresentation, outright lies. And a guest recommendation is the author of the book, Ashley Rinsberg.
Very good author.
I'd be happy to talk to Ashley. I think Ashley has a Substack as well. And Ashley has done some work against Wikipedia as well as the New York Times. So, yes, if any of you know how to get hold of Ashley or availability, we'd love to talk to him. Absolutely. Jack White, socialists throughout history have been upper middle class, wealthy people.
Even Marx himself. I mean, even he came from a middle class family, of rabbis, but
and his father disowned him.
Rabbis, they disowned him, but rabbis made good money back in the day.
Yeah, good point. Let's see, Jack White again. Somebody needs to send Trump a copy of The Gray Lady.
Dude, I don't even think that would help him. I mean, he is just addicted to that newspaper. It's like crack cocaine.
Paper.
Hometown and known town. I mean, Halpern's addicted to it too. He's addicted. These people are addicted institutionalists is really the broad stroke.
Well, it's like the Pulitzer used to be something, and now it's a joke. Or how about the Oscars? I mean, that was a thing, and now it's like they really aren't what they were. But, you know, if they try to give you an Oscar for a screenplay, Mark, I'm sure you'd show up.
Well, I would because of the free buffet. But other than that, I would not.
Well, and the swag bag, where they give like the watches and all that shit that's in there.
And the fact that it's close to my house, I wouldn't go out of my way to go to the Oscars. But if they were giving it out, I'd have to show up.
All right.
Although Woody Allen didn't. Maybe he didn't care. He just stayed in New York. But that was a long schlep for him.
Well, Marlon Brando sent somebody else.
He sent a phony engine.
Yeah, exactly. Who John Wayne wanted to tackle.
Well.
All right. Jack White. Example of the lie New York Times told is they had a correspondent work in Germany during the reign of the Nazis who was getting the New York Times all these sweet interviews.
Yeah. Dude, he got Goebbels interviews every week. Goebbels said, "Oh, this is a regular broadcast then. I'm glad you're interviewing me again, Bob. That's great. Yeah, I'm Joseph Goebbels. I write for the New York Times through my pen pal here."
And why not? Charlie FLA said, recently watched a great video of yours about W. Chambers, who was a commie spy in the 30s, 40s. He had a government job, but left and outed other commies. Did the commies take over? Deep state? They're trying. They never quit.
They're trying. Whittaker Chambers is an American hero. I mean, I highly recommend you read his autobiography. It is because it's again, like David Horowitz, it's a guy who has a religious conversion and a political conversion, and then decides that he can't live with himself with all this information about the commies and who they are.
Isn't that biography considered like one of the best biographies, sort of like Rand's biography?
Well, it's an autobiography,
what you mean. Rand's was too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just fantastic. Well,
it's like literature.
He literally wrote entire issues of Newsweek himself. I just, as a magazine guy, it's incomprehensible the amount of work in his straight job when he was an editor at Newsweek. He would literally write 40 articles for the entire publication.
Amazing.
I mean, he's a great writer, is what I'm saying. I mean, the fact that he was able to write every article for Newsweek on a given week, or most of them, is just insane to me.
I agree. Jack White. There were a lot of commies in the State Department who came in there from the OSS after World War II. Needed who did everything in their power to undermine McCarthy's investigation. Well, yeah, I mean, Kim Philby came out of there's two different things here. First of all, these commies that we're talking about infiltrated in the 1930s into the FDR administration. When confronted by them, he laughed FDR to suggest that they were communists and just laughed it off. But they had completely infiltrated in the 30s and 40s into his thing. The post-operation paperclip
brought in right-wing Nazis who came into the government and came into the operation. Then there's another wave of commies after the collapse of the Soviet Union, who came to London, came to Brooklyn, and came to Beverly Hills. Those are the ones that fled, who were actual communists within the Soviet regime. Well, because you didn't stay there. I mean, it makes perfect sense, Eric. You're not going to stay behind after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Payback time.
You got to get out. You got to get out. And they were embraced by the Democrats. The Republicans embraced the Nazi type. So they both got a little bit out of it.
And that's why we have such a shit show.
Right.
I mean, Dr. Evil has been a member for 3 years now. Good work, man. Good work to you, Dr. Evil. Thank you for being a member for all that time. We do appreciate that immensely. Jack White. My point is that FDR might have put some pressure on Durante to get him to continue lying about the Ukraine famine, so FDR could acknowledge the Soviet Union as the sole legitimate governing party
Possibly.
of Russia.
That's a stretch. I mean, possibly true, but I don't know if that's kind of a little bridge too far to FDR to do that. At least I don't. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, look, I don't think he created a 9/11 like thing with Pearl Harbor. I mean, people say that he knew about Pearl Harbor. It's kind of a bridge too far for me personally.
Right. Plus, FDR's New Deal didn't end anything when it came to the Depression. Did the opposite. It prolonged the Depression, and this was proved by a study that was done by a liberal university. Yeah, that's been argued for a while.
So I've seen arguments on both sides, but I mean, the point of the matter was, he served as a father figure during a dark time, and as a leader, that was sorely needed.
Yeah, and I think most historians, wherever they stand, would say that World War II pulled us out of the Depression.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. Let me see. William Ratcliffe, Eagles coach, talked about getting Fauci'd.
The Eagles coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? Oh, yeah. The shot you're talking about?
I guess.
Oh, I see. Well, he himself had heart damage from it. They were questioning him about his own heart damage.
Oh, the Fauci was a lung pulmonary, whatever that RFK was pointing out on him.
Yep.
Stephen Smith earlier, and I had the video clip for it. I was impressed. He was apologizing to Kylie Irving. I guess Kylie Irving of the New York Nets refused to get the shot and was banned from all home games and lost like $11 million in salary. And Stephen Smith was apologizing, saying, I criticized him and everything else. And he said, the truth is he was brave.
Wow. That's an interesting turn. Good for him. Good for Smith. Cool. Good for Smith. Yeah. Maybe the Democratic nominee some year.
Maybe. I don't know. It'd be better than some. Jack White, and the whole FDR potentially leaning on Durante comes from a part in the Gray Lady winked about a big event held in New York to honor Durante, and the people who showed up to the event were members of the Rockefeller family and FDR.
Yeah, like I said, thanks for the chat. But like I said, they embrace and award the cats who are in trouble to cement their reputations. So that makes sense with Durante as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Carl Burkhalter. Grant allowed Confederate officers to retain their sidearms to maintain discipline.
Oh, yeah.
Lee surrendered all muskets and artillery in the Army of Northern Virginia. Jesse James farther west, and thousands more kept their guns. Yeah. I mean, well, there were still...
Jesse James had things to do. He had bank robberies to do.
Well, Nathan Bedford Forrest was still fighting, if I recall, for a while after too. So there was still, it wasn't over like it just ended. It kind of trickled out.
No, I'm just talking about Hamas, though. I don't want to get into a civil war discussion. The idea of Hamas to implement this thing that Trump is talking about today, the first step of the implementation is the surrender of all the weapons. I would be shocked if that ever happened.
Right, and if you have any question about that, well, go. Ask the son of Hamas's founder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who is out there and very clearly, has stated that no, this is essentially a crusade, that they will never quit anything else as long as there are Jews on the planet.
I think even if they ordered it, the rest of them wouldn't do it.
No, because it's like a core element of their being.
Yeah.
which is kind of hard to deal with. Gen X Craig gifted 5 American Untold Stories memberships. Well, thank you, Craig. I do appreciate that. Let me see. Jack White. Want a good food combination? Chocolate chip Pop-Tarts and whipped cream.
Well, you'd have to have the munchies for that.
I guess, yeah. That's a little bit of a flip. Let me see. Check out.
Is there anybody else up there on your board other than not to?
Oh, we're almost through. We're almost through.
Okay,
Jack.
I mean, there might be others that we're not.
Well, we have others. I mean, I've been reading a mix of people.
I'm not privy to that. Go on.
Well, I'm saying their names.
Right.
Anyway, Jack White, check out some of Actual Justice Warriors videos about the Innocence Project, lying to get guilty people out of jail. Yeah, I know Sean Fitzgerald. Let's see. Jack White, only Western movies. I'm looking forward to our Dune Part 3. I play Rocky Coyote versus Acme. Okay. And then Ed Flynn is coming in hot and saying, Witness an absolute must read. I agree. Mark, an American Hero. And that's the Whitaker Chambers book.
Yeah, it's called Witness for those who want to get it. It's a great book. Thanks, Edward.
And definitely, check out.
You won't be able to put it down. And it's like David Horowitz's work. It's like people who have switched sides, had some epiphany, whether it's religious or political. He put his neck on the line, and then Nixon got involved with the pumpkin tapes, and then they got the different spies in England. I mean, it opened the door to a anti-communist movement and rounding up spies also. I mean, it leads to the Rosenbergs. It leads to their brother-in-law, David Greenglass, who was convicted of spying for the Soviets. I mean, both of the Rosenbergs went to the chair over this.
Mm-hmm. And we covered them, by the way. The Rosenbergs with Greenglass. I think it was part of the Greenglass.
Oh, episode. Okay, yeah.
If people want to check that out, and the fact that they were true believers.
Yeah, I mean, Alger Hiss to this day denies he's a communist, despite all kinds of evidence. He retreated back to the England, where you're allowed to live out your life as a communist. Apparently,
didn't he die recent years?
I assume he's dead. Yeah,
and yeah, I don't think he. He denied it.
He never rescinded. He never did. It admitted it.
Now, you know what? You sent me a story while we're talking about communism like surveillance. What do you think about the flock cameras?
Well, apparently vigilantes don't like them. These flock cameras, I got trapped. I'm going to get a ticket in the mail because I went through one yesterday and I heard the clicking out of the corner of my ear. I made a right turn onto Wilshire and Beverly Hills, and I looked up, and there was a camera, not a camera. There was a camera, but there was a new red light that looked to be different, a tiny red light that they installed just to take the photos to generate income. And I blew through that red light simply because I turned the corner, and it was literally right here. Once I turned, it was really, really nefarious how they did it, Eric. And so I expect to get a ticket in the mail. But the story Eric's talking about is vigilantes out here in California who are literally ripping the cameras out of the sides of the road. One of the guys got arrested, couldn't care less. A lot of them are not stopping.
Well, it's not only there. There was a story, and I had it to pull up too, in Troy, New York.
Oh, wow. I've been to Troy.
Okay, well, here's the crazy thing. The city council in Troy, New York, voted to end the flock camera contract. So it got voted in, and they're saying, okay, we're going to end it.
Right.
The mayor said, screw you.
Yeah.
Declared a public emergency.
Yeah.
And so now the citizens are cutting them down.
Right on.
So
I love this. This is a national
war.
movement because this is installed to simply generate money by catching you at weird angles and using the camera to generate, the license plate and the address and everything to mail you the thing. And these are done by third-party companies, and the cities get a taste of that. They get a piece of that action. So there's 3 people involved, you, the company, and the city. And they're willing to take whatever this company or the camera companies give them.
Well, and it's because it's there's like no recourse. It's like you're just boom, there's no technically, I guess you can go to court and all that, but who's going to?
Nobody.
And maybe that would be the way to shut it down, is for every single person to go to court and contest it and to back them up and jam up the courts for months and months and months to come. Then all of a sudden they might be like, oh, I don't know if we want to do this
again. They look at it like we need the money to justify our $600,000 salaries. They look at money coming into city government and realize they can't perpetuate it much longer with the salaries that they're all making. So they come up with harebrained ideas like this. To keep their own lifestyles going.
And I like, we got somebody in the chat. Wouldn't it be just easier to follow the speed limits? No. There you go. Maybe
these are not even for speeding.
Everywhere that we are.
I wasn't speeding when this happened yesterday. I just turned a corner through a red light. I wasn't speeding at all, but I heard that clicking going off, and I went, "Fuck."
Yeah, I've been nailed by a particular school zone camera that, you come out from under a bridge.
Yeah, they strategic. That's what I mean. They strategically place them in these advantageous positions driving wise. I mean, it's brilliant in its nefariousness.
Yeah, but at least put a deputy out there or a police officer out there to have to sit there and pull people over. I don't like the ease of use where it's like, oh, just a camera, boom, boom, boom. It's like printing money for them.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, there was a stop sign here, and then right here was this brand new camera, a brand new red light that doesn't look like the other red lights, not at a corner. I know every red light on Wilshire. This was a newer model right here when you turned. So there's really no way. If it was green, you're cool. You're cool. But if it's not, you wouldn't even see the light, Eric, because it's, you're on a side street.
Well, and they do that. I mean, really, they're following the old speed trap pattern.
It's an electronic speed trap.
Absolutely. And it's the worst. And they do have them strategically, like, that one you're coming out from like right under a bridge and you're like, oh, shit, okay, you get nailed there. Or other ones, it's like you're coming down a hill. So just going down a hill, you're automatically going to be picking up some speed. And you've got to remember, oh, shit, I got to tap my brake. Oh, you're already nailed. So I don't know. It's maddening. I never want to say go break the law, people, but I'm not crying about flock cameras that are getting destroyed all over the country.
A lot of vigilantism going on.
Yeah. It's it is very
people are taking matters into their own hands because the elected officials aren't doing it.
Oh, of course they're not, because they're getting paid. Well, what's the motivation? And while we're on surveillance, I noticed, I follow different Apple stuff. By the way, Tim Cook is going to be out of the company in just over a month now.
Right on.
But Apple apparently is delaying their own smart glasses launch because people are starting to really get pissed off about Meta and the Ray-Bans. I don't know if you've seen.
We had a guy. We met someone with them the other day, an Amazon guy. Delivery guy, and he told me how ineffectual they were.
Oh, they're not.
He was sad that he bought them.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends on how you look at it. It does record up to a minute of footage or 3 minutes or whatever it is, and you can do pictures. I mean, somebody gave me a pair, and it's interesting, but there's a reason that people are calling them pervert glasses. And
are they X-ray specs? Can I see through a woman's dress?
But people trying to wear them into strip clubs, people trying to wear them in locker rooms,
people
trying to wear them in different locations.
I never thought of that.
And people just don't like the fact that you're talking to somebody and you're being recorded. That's sort of annoying. At least with a phone, granted, people could be doing it. If they're holding a phone up in your face like this, you could probably be like, "Are you recording me? Can you put your phone down? Whatever." But if it's glasses, that's kind of getting annoying. And what people are doing is like covering up. There's supposed to be a light saying, symbolizing, hey, it's recording. So you see a recording light, but they're finding ways to cover that up and everything. So
right.
Anyway,
All
I
right.
don't know
Well, we
what
talked
you're
about
looking at.
that. I'm just looking at different things. I'm
Okay.
listening to you. I hear you.
All right. I saw this headline. Verizon is denying it, but I'm kind of going, holy shit. There are rumors that are picking up all over the place that Verizon may be bought by SpaceX.
Okay.
That would be Elon Musk owning the largest cell phone carrier in the country.
I trust him. I also trust that he's opening up his pocketbook for the midterms, more importantly, and going berserk with money, Eric. So everybody who has a bad opinion on Elon Musk ought to take a look at what he said this week about spending billions on the midterms. I don't know if it's going to work, but I certainly appreciate the effort on his part.
All right. Well, while we're talking about Elon, that leads almost into AI. This college professor out of New York busted 32 out of 35 students using AI on their final. And it was really kind of pathetic because what he did was in the directions for, what was required of the essay or whatever, is he put in there saying, please reference this thing and have it not make any sense. And sure as shit, 32 of them all referenced this non sequitur thing that he put in the directions. It was a speed trap. Well, it's not even a speed trap because they're so lazy. They didn't even read the instructions before they put it in the AI. They just stuck it in there, spit it out, and said, "Okay, here you go." And
John Rickles talked about he was in 5th grade and they're taking their final exams, and he stands up and he's just copying off the kids sitting next to him. And the teacher goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm cheating. Would you be quiet?" It's just a great line in 5th grade.
Wow. Well, you got to appreciate the honesty of that. Well,
yeah.
Let me see too. Trying to pull up another window. See if we have a Rumble rant or not. I don't see any. Just so people understand, my computer's so bad right now that the windows are stuttering when I try to open them. That's why I haven't shared any articles or anything. Kitty724 said, McConnell alive till after midterms, auto vote for him.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe. This is his final term. They're just trying to hold on and not have him replaced with somebody insane. We got Edward McLaughlin with say the last super chat. On top of that, he's a great writer too. Very easy read. He's still talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about the Newsweek thing, because magazine writing is different in accessibility than regular writing.
Yeah. And it's much quicker.
Yeah. You could tell when you read it. It's like reading a Newsweek article.
Wow, doing an entire biography, that probably is very good.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are going to be headed over to locals, and I'll probably be restarting my computer.
You're going to restart it? Okay, let me just say I'm doing the people who are curious, I'm doing Don Rickles on Wednesday. That's why he's on my mind. On what's up. I'm just cracking up all week watching these fucking roasts and Don Rickles specials. This is not hard work. It's very entertaining. Rickles is a fucking madman, and I'm having a good time with it. So Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
No, he is a classic. I love watching this old Johnny Carson roast.
That's what I've been doing. Some of it is just so funny. A lot of it he misses. It's not 100% accurate, but holy shit, when he hits, he hits.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like watching old Saturday Night Live. If you actually watch some of them episodes, oh my God, there's so much garbage in there, and some is just nail it.
If you could find this, I'll just tell you this: Rickles hosting SNL one time. Watch the monologue of Rickles on SNL. Okay, you're gonna have to dig it out of YouTube. Only time he was ever on SNL. Watch the opening monologue that he comes out, goes into the audience, like he's in Vegas and starts ridiculing the SNL audience.
That's funny.
Dude, it's really great. Really great.
All right. Well, we will continue this discussion over on Locals. And
what about Torn from the Headlines?
That's going to be on Locals too. I hope.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's why I'm restarting everything. I'm hoping. I hope I'm there on Locals, and I hope I make it. So everybody stand by. We will be over there soon.